What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Other Side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest in cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who've made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon Tynes.
What's up? What's up?
And Levon Maynard.
What up?
What is going on? So this week we have another discussion point when it comes to dark side. It just keeps getting weirder and weirder. I'm starting to see a whole different side of the hacker world. So without what's the phrase I'm about to say?
Further ado.
There you go. Without further ado, I give you to Shannon.
All right, everybody. So this article is from the Threat Post, and this is Becky Bracken that wrote this article, and it's DarkSide getting taken to hackers court for not paying affiliates, right? So this is funny to me, right? Because you know the old saying, no honor amongst thieves, this, that, and the third, right? So like what I'm kind of curious about is that they have no problem going after, hospitals and schools and police departments, but if they screw each other over, like here we are having kind of like a people's court type thing, like they really do have like a people's court, like they can take each other. They have plaintiffs and defendants to this. It's not a physical courtroom, but they go in and they discuss and say, hey, they didn't pay me for this ransomware as a service that I provided for them, and I want to sue them to get whatever money or whatever, which I don't even know how you really pay them back when you do that, right? Like you're all criminals. Like what are you really doing? Seriously, like what are you really doing to like make this right or whatever? Because if they're not paying you up front, like what makes you think taking them to this court is really going to do anything for them? Like you may blacklist them from doing other things, you know what I mean, in the underworld, you know what I mean, on the dark web. But yeah, this was interesting to me that there is a little bit of honor amongst them, I guess, to be held accountable that these groups are actually treating this as a business, you know what I mean? So yeah, I just found it a little interesting. But Levon, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think this it is pretty interesting, just like you said. It's so like ransomware is a service, so this DarkSide's providing the service, and then all of a sudden I guess so as you described, like the affiliates themselves are not. Is it the affiliates that are not paying back to DarkSide? Is DarkSide not paying the affiliates?
Is DarkSide?
DarkSide's the one. Yeah. So it's on DarkSide. So it's just kind of crazy, but I mean,
no, DarkSide's not the only one though. So, but here's the thing:
right.
It's not like DarkSide's the only one. Like this is
right.
a process they have for multiple groups, but DarkSide's the latest one.
Yeah.
They're
trying to legitimize their operations and to put some like structure behind the kind of chaos or mayhem that they cause for other businesses to charge other affiliates or whatever. They get charged for not providing the service properly or not paying the money appropriately. I think it's just it's very interesting. I mean, I'm actually really curious, I think I read in an article too that they they have this whole process of when they recruit people, and they kind of go through kind of the same kind of process of vetting people, and I'm not sure they try to do a background check almost to make sure that they're not some undercover cyber police officer or something, cyber cop trying to take down the operation or something. But yeah, I just think it's kind of interesting that they're going through this process and that they have everything kind of identified to properly properly charge somebody or to bring up disputes. And if you got something to say, you got a problem with the affiliate, or if you got a problem with DarkSide and other organizations, that you just bring them to a cyber court, and then you bring up your, you have some defendants, you have some plaintiffs, you have evidence. Look what I found here in this blockchain receipt that I received from their transaction. I can see what they did here and that kind of stuff. It's just kind of an interesting process, but nonetheless, I mean, it's kind of hopeful that maybe, I don't know, maybe some of these operations that they do, some of these people court sessions that they have, that'll help for organizations that are trying to find these hackers, maybe find them easier if they're like, I don't know, if they're congregating and like putting together these like little sessions where they're like having disputes, and I don't know, maybe it'll help to track them down and find out, where they're operating out of, or how they're operating their business. But it's just like it's an interesting situation. I don't know if I have much more to say about it, but it's like they could probably make a TV show out of this if they had like record some of this and have like imagine like people sitting in like a courtroom, but they're all like blurred out and like pixelated, and the voices are changed, like the kind of like robotic voice or whatever they have, and then having like coming to the stand is anonymous number 3, like present his case to, and the defendant here is whatever anonymous number 5. But I think that'd be pretty hilarious. But you have some thoughts on it as well, Ryan? What you think?
Yeah, definitely. So I find it fascinating, right? Like, just how mature the models become. Like, ransomware as a service not only has companies building the tools who have codes of ethics, which is something that we don't really dabble in too much when we talk about these gangs, but then affiliates who then spread this stuff. They're doing double and triple extortion on their victims. And then when they don't get paid, because we talked about last week, where they said DarkSide's account was emptied out, it seemed kind of shady. Like, was it the government? Was it DarkSide just trying to get out of town or what have you? But the affiliates were like, "Nah, we didn't get paid, so we're taking you to cyber court or hackers court." And there's a mature structure there as well, right? So who's to say that some of these people who are doing this court proceedings aren't from legal professions? Like, maybe your side hustle as a lawyer is that you show up to cyber court to present cases and what have you, or maybe you didn't pass the bar, but you know a little bit, so
right,
you show up, and then you could go over the proceedings. So I think it's pretty cool. Like, obviously, I'm not pro hackers, not pro ransomware or any of that stuff, but just to see a different side, like a different view of things. It's kind of like, I think I brought it up in the chat. It's like John Wick with the whole shadowy organization. It's the same thing now with the hackers. Like, it's a whole glimpse of things you've just never seen before. So it's pretty crazy out there. So do I feel bad for them? No. Like, birds of a feather, right? But I do see how you can't let this devolve into chaos. Like, you can't hire me to do a job and not pay me, because then I will never trust the system again. So in their case, there has to be some level of trust, or else it just doesn't work, right? Like, you can't affiliate something where you don't believe that you will get paid at the end of the day, whether it be legal or illegal. So there's codes of conduct in the streets too, right? So you need to obviously pay people for services rendered. So something will come about this. Either these people will be on the dark side of the house. Either they'll be canceled, or they'll be shunned by their peers. Like, what does that even look like? Like, what is the darker side of the dark web look like, where you have these people who can't be trusted to provide services and whatnot, but they still work there. So like, who's gonna pick them up? Like, what is there a C team that picks up exiled hackers to do work? So there has to be some kind of what's the word I'm trying to say, honor within the system that they've built there for it to work, because it is profitable. Like, who's going to give up? They said they were making upwards of 50 million per company. So in that 1 week, in that 9 months, they said they had made $90 million. So on this side of the house, they need this to be structured into work, because that's a lot of money. That's stabbing money. People get stabbed. We were talking about it over chicken sandwiches, right? You get stabbed over a chicken sandwich. People get stabbed over $90 million worth of Bitcoin. Right. So they're going to have to figure this out. So and then in doing so, they'll probably give up a lot of information that on the good side we can find more of these people and lock them up.
Right.
So the more digital footprint you have out there, right? So if you're doing court proceedings and you have sealed documents and yada yada yada, who's in attendance at this court? The FBI, the CIA. So people will get in, people will get more details. It's hard to not talk about stuff like this. So more people will get caught. So it'll work out in our favor as well. So
two things, right? So like the first thing I'm thinking about is that lawyer is probably Jay-Z, right? Because according to him, he ain't passed the bar, but he know a little bit enough that you legally searches.
I tried to slip that in there.
Yeah. But the other thing is, right? So like Darkseid, they expressed regret after they did this thing with the Colonial Pipeline, right? And I gotta say, this is the first time I've ever seen that. So like we talk about, okay, honor amongst thieves, you got to make sure you get paid for or whatever. But like before they came out and said, hey, we're just in it for the money. We don't want to have any type of, we're apolitical. We don't want to say we support one side or another in anything related to politics. But I don't know if I'd ever seen it before that. Like every other time, it's just like, hey, give us our money. If you don't, we're going to release this. We're going to do that. Like I haven't seen any remorse from any other hacking groups. You know what I mean? Like even
I think it's because they knew it was going to happen. They knew that they would get shut down. It was just too big. Like what was it, in 9 months, the article that you shared with us, in 9 months, they had hit up like over 100 companies or something like that. So that money starts, there's a multiplier there. And they thought they struck gold, but nah, you mess with the US and their oil. It's bad for business. Because they had some sort of protection, right? They're not, I forget there's three types. There's the nation state threat actors. And then there's these quasi, like, we are protected by the region. So like we do in this case, Russia's bidding. We don't attack Russia in any way. And they give us somewhat protection because like we do work for them. We're a third party like affiliate.
They do stuff,
but they got too greedy.
They do stuff that's in their best interest. They're not doing it at the direction of the country, but they're doing it in the best interest of the country.
Right. And they receive protections because of it. But they bit off a little bit more they could chew. So I'm sure whomever their liaison between them and the government was like, I need y'all to disappear. You got to burn bridges at that point. Like y'all went too big. You know what I mean? Like it's like Icarus heading towards the sun. So they that was the regret probably. It was because hey, this was good money and we messed up. Not necessarily like, oh, we made the Americans go crazy with their gas. They're already crazy. You didn't push us too far, but now you've lost that as well as someone empty out your accounts. At least that's what you're saying. And then on top of it, now you've lost all your protections. So you got to start over. So I would feel sad too. It's like when your kid get caught doing something wrong. Like, oh man, I'm not upset because I did something wrong. I'm upset because you caught me.
Right.
So very true.
Yeah. So there will be, like, I'm sure they'll be broken apart and then they'll come back as something else. Those who aren't put in cyber jail or whatever the equivalent is, will be back. They'll resurface, but at least we'll know a little bit more of their tactics. Like this, if some of these documents are released, like this can definitely give us a lot of insight on just how these processes are done, how these things are created, how these networks are structured. Because it seems to be a lot more mature than any of us originally thinking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think it's I kind of mentioned it earlier too, just like you said that this may open the door for us for discovering a little bit more about the operation, and that they may leave some like breadcrumbs to kind of track down individuals that are responsible with the organization, where they're at. Because the more they're like interacting with each other, the more they're out there like speaking to each other and posting on these forums and whatever like information they're sharing on the forum, but sharing links and complaining about, hey, you didn't give me this money, this is my address, just send it to, and this and that. That kind of things can be tracked, and like you said, learn the operations, learn how to do things, and maybe kind of break it down from there. Yeah, I think it's very interesting, and there's a point that I was thinking of earlier. I can't think of it now, but I think overall, it's just a very interesting process, and it's almost kind of like I don't know, depending on who's like in trouble with whoever. I think you kind of touched on it too, but if they just like, hey, what if they just change their alias? You don't really know these people in person. They assumingly they
Right.
don't know each other in real life. They just know like a gamer tag, so to speak. And so they're like, hey, you didn't give me this money. Where's it at or whatever? You can just be like, oh, I'm just gonna change my tag and act like I'm somebody else. But then again, it's like maybe it's too much of an effort, because it seems like it looks like they in order to like use their services, I guess they have to like vet you first and make sure that you're not. I don't know, and I'm kind of curious what kind of process they go through to vet people. Like, what does it take? Like, what do you have to know about them? What information do you need? Maybe they just need some, like, I don't know, Bitcoin, like, wallet address or something, or if they need some, like, you got to send us your ID. We need a picture ID. You need your driver's license, your
Right.
some sort of
There's got to be something. Yeah. Like I bet you they have a whole HR department.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's something.
Right.
There has to be something to build that mutual trust, right? That mutual assured destruction. Like,
Yeah.
so who's to say that you don't start doxing these people? Like, okay,
Right.
they didn't pay me. Someone start releasing information on you.
Right.
So
Right.
there's
Maybe it's like, you got to give us a little bit.
Yeah.
You got to give us some personal information about you, and then we'll have that as ransom in case you don't pay us or something. I don't know. In case you don't.
Right.
Yeah. Just like they ransomware their own affiliates to to use the ransomware program.
Yeah, so there's probably something there. So I'm sure over the weeks, because we said last week, like, yeah, there'll be more to come out with this. Like, so we had this article. Is it the same lady as the article before?
It was, yeah.
It is.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, like
Same
she is writing her butt off. Okay,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That happened. Look, that happened. The
Last week.
previous podcast too. Yeah, the one we couldn't pronounce. Like, I was like, I hope I said your name right. Dude.
That's right.
right.
We had him twice too.
Got you. But yeah, I think it's interesting. I'm sure there's more will come out of it. It's getting to be almost espionage movie level. Then that's when I'm going to start tuning out.
Right.
Once you get to the triple cross, I'm out.
That's right.
I can't track no more. But I thought this was a good episode, so I appreciate everybody's opinion. Thank you, Levon. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you to all those out there listening and watching us on the YouTube and on the podcast platform of your choice. Please make sure you like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell or whatever's involved in your platform. Share with your friends. We'll spread quicker by word of mouth than we will through advertising that I don't pay for. So
That's right.
So it's all word of mouth, people. But definitely hit us up on the website, www.theothersideofthefirewall.com, where you can get to our Facebook and IG. And then you can hit me up personally at RyRy Security Guy. That's RYRY Security Guy. You reach me on LinkedIn, Twitter, IG, and something else. I can't remember what it is right now. Clubhouse, there it is. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So all the same tag. And then Levon.
And you can hit me up on the Twitter. It's at Levon Maynard.
There it is. So everybody stay safe, stay secure.
Take care.